Hi guys, it's Anthony Chapman here, and I want to just talk you through the process of using Beat Detective to do some time correction on some live drums that we've got recorded. These are Akiba's drums that he's kindly letting us use for this. So what I want to do is basically sort of start from the beginning. Now, Beat Detective lets us analyze drums and other rhythmic material, generate hit points, and from those hit points we can slice up the audio. Then we can quantize those new clips of audio, and we can also use Beat Detective to fill in the gaps and smooth it out. So I very quickly kind of want to run you through the basic workflow for Beat Detective. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to make a group so that we can do all of our editing on our drums to all of the tracks at once. Now at the moment it's, I can do that and select multiple tracks, but I just want to be sure that everything we do happens to all of those tracks. Okay, and the way we do that is we need to come down here to the group section at the bottom left. Okay, and I'm going to click new group, and if we zoom out, so I'm going to select these 4 tracks, and I'm going to add those to my group. If you selected the tracks in the mixer first and did the new group dialog, they would already be in the group selected. Okay, I'm going to change the name of the group to Drums Edit, and I'm going to switch this to an edit group because I just want this group to mean that the tracks are linked together for editing, not for mixing. Okay, and click OK, and you can see down here we can click on that to turn it on or off. Also, this is the group designation, but that's also a keyboard shortcut. So if I turn on keyboard focus, I can use A to turn that on and off. Okay, so let's just see what we've got. I'm going to trim this up to the beginning of bar 2. So we've got a bar intro, 3, 4. This is what I want to focus on. I want to get the bar intro with the little roll sorted, and then do the first 4 bars. So now something I want you to kind of get used to is the first thing to do is to just look ahead to see what's happening at the end of the section you want to edit. It is best to edit stuff by sections like this because it's much easier to get an idea of if stuff's working if we do it, say, 4 or 8 bars at a time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in, and you see this is the first beat of the next bar. Okay, and if you look at that closely, you see that's actually early, that's before the beat. Okay, so I'm going to hit tab, and to do this obviously we need to make sure the tab to transients, which is here, we need to make sure that's turned on. Okay, so I'm now right on the beat of that, the first beat of the next bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command and E to separate that, okay, to just put a slice in, and then I'm going to grab this and shift that up to the next bar. Okay, so now we don't have to worry about that kick drum being early and confusing Beat Detective. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my 5 bars total because it's 4 bars of the beat and then the 1 bar of the intro. So there we have it. We have our 4 bars there and the 1 bar intro selected. So I'm going to fire up Beat Detective itself. Okay. And in Beat Detective, we're going to be using 3 sections: clip separation, clip conform, and edit smoothing. Okay. Now I'm just going to zoom in on this a bit so we can look at it in a bit more detail. If we start on clip separation and we start in this middle section here, the golden rule of Beat Detective is before you do anything, hit capture selection. Now watch these values here. Okay, so this, now I've clicked capture selection, it's showing us our selection that we've made, bar 2 beat 1 to bar 7 beat 1. Okay, then the contains section here, this is basically telling Beat Detective the grid value to run on. Okay, this is divisions of the bar. I'm going to put it on 16th because I know there's some little sort of tricksy roll bits that need to be analysed. If we go over into detection, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure my trigger pad is set to 5 milliseconds. The trigger pad is a value that once Beat Detective analyses the audio and puts its triggers in, it trigger pad of 5 milliseconds means that the actual triggers and the slices will be placed 5 milliseconds before. The reason I use this is that sometimes a little bit of the audio can be hanging over across the trigger point, and that can cause some mess when you start to edit. So I think it's always a good idea to add a little pad there. Okay, we need this left on normal, this set to enhanced resolution. Okay, so if you watch the audio here, okay, when I click analyze, you'll see that we get these purple hit points up on our audio. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is play and just look at what we've got here and see if we've got enough. You see it's missed some of those drums there. There's a one here. So I think this needs to be turned, the sensitivity needs to be turned up. So I go down to the sensitivity here, turn it up. We can see it's starting to pick everything up. That looks pretty good to me. Maybe there's one more there. Yeah, that one there came up. So yep. So that, I think that's got all of the hit points that we need now. So the last thing I'm going to do in this page is click separate, and it separates everything into separate regions, or separate clips rather. Go to conform, and conform is basically where it quantizes these new clips to the grid. Okay, so I'm going to hit conform, and you can see everything's moved there. Just in case you didn't see it, I'll undo. And watch these clips. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay. Okay, so you see they all moved slightly, and the fact they moved a very small amount suggests to me that this conform has probably worked. Yep, that seems to be working for me now. Now the only thing is it's created a few gaps in there. So we go to edit smoothing, and we make sure that edit smoothing is set to fill and crossfade, and we've got a crossfade of 5 milliseconds. Hit smooth, and now all the gaps are filled. So if I turn on my click and we have a listen, yeah, great. So we now have drums that are running perfectly in time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start grouping. Okay, and this is different from our groups down here. This is clip groups. Okay, so first thing I want to do is group this first bar, which is our intro. So I've got that selected. I'm going to go up to clip and select group. So now I've got that. I'll double click on it with the hand and call this intro. Okay. And then I want to get my 4 bars of the beat. And I'm just going to select all of that. And then I'm going to use the shortcut this time for group. Alt, Command and G. And then that is my main beat 1. Whoops. And from this point I can start to work my way through the beat detecting everything as I go, grouping it as I go along, and then once I've grouped stuff, you know, I can start to copy it off to somewhere else, loop it up, do all stuff like that, you know. So it gives us ultimate flexibility. And also I should say that even though it's grouped, if I zoom in on that group, I can go to clip and ungroup, and I can make changes in there and then group it up again. Okay. So that is essentially it. This is the stuff that you're going to need to do with the drums in your first assessment. So my advice is sit down with Pro Tools in G127 or G125, or maybe on your home rig if you've got it, and work along with this video until you've got this workflow completely nailed. Okay, so I hope that's been useful for you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.